Hooty hoo!
My name is Chuck Burge, and here we're to honor and talk about the KSU sports program. And before we get totally out of the man, I want to wish my co-host, Mr. Robert Kinney, a happy birthday. Everybody say happy birthday, Robert.
Happy birthday, Robert.
All right.
25.
25.
25.
I thought that was 5.2.
Yeah.
You're 25.
It's like a Mustang, 5.2.
5.2.
You're 25 times 2 plus 2.
I'm something like that.
Is he good with math or what?
He is.
I've done math before.
So why am I hearing Hall & Oates in the background? Larry,
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
why are we hearing Hall & Oates in the background?
I mean, I like this
Larry,
song.
Larry might be in charge, but
Is over the
Let me go
speakers?
check, and someone switched our thing.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
thanks.
I like this song. Don't get me wrong.
All right. So we're going to listen to Little Rich Girl.
Anyway,
you can rely
On my old man's money.
you can rely on my old
If someone puts money in the jukebox, it overrides it.
I see.
So we're being overridden by the jukebox. Too far won't get you far.
Hey,
All
if I
right.
had to take a back seat, at least it's to Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Yeah, there are worse people to take back seats
Absolutely.
to.
I might
Hey,
I might bring some cash next week just so I can override you guys during the entire KSU show.
Let me
It'll
just
be your last KSU.
Let me-
Yes, it will be.
Let me just say this, although it has
Chuck.
nothing to do with Kennesaw State's
I was
athletics.
going to say, the show going out live on Facebook and
Yes,
YouTube
we are still live.
and everything else is going out fine.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay,
I
thank
I
you.
don't hear them.
Well, we can hear it, and I want to dance. So,
do
okay.
you know how these two gentlemen met?
Hall & Oates?
No.
They
Tell
were
us.
they were
At
walking
Kennesaw
down
State?
they were walking down a street and a gang fight broke out. And for their own safety, they both jumped into the same elevator to get the heck away. He's like, "Hey, my name's John. Hey, I'm a musician too." That's how they met.
Interesting. I
Very
didn't know
interesting
that.
story. Thank you.
Crazy
All right,
stuff.
so let's go let ATI do his bit so he can get off camera. Go ahead, ATI.
Well, I didn't realize I was such a burden.
Not
so,
all the
Terrell
time.
Burden.
So not like Terrell Burden, no. So Sarah Hendrick was named to the CSC Academic All-American First Team, which is very impressive.
Very impressive, especially right after you announce your retirement, just to go ahead and throw a couple more accolades. Hey, and guess what? Phenomenal student.
Yes, All-American First Team, very impressive. And then football workouts have started this summer, so
They
you know,
actually
we
have
gotta-
tryouts at some point this summer. I saw on the Facebook page. So.
yeah. So
If you got any eligibility left, birthday boy?
Yeah, I think I might have pulled a hammy. I don't know if I can do it this year,
Well, if
Coach.
you're really 25, you could probably do it.
I have 4 years of
Hey,
eligibility.
Chris Winkie could win a Heisman at like 29, so I'm sure I've got something left.
I can punt.
I can see Adam being an end tackle and guard. Sit at the end of the bench and
Nose
guard the water bucket and tackle anybody that comes near it.
Hey, I can punt. I mean, my punts aren't good, but they're,
Well,
He
go
can't do
outside
it
and
good,
practice.
but he
Let's
can
bring
do
Rick
it.
on.
yeah, they're not great, but
So, go outside and practice, and we're going to bring Rick on.
Okay.
All right. So, again, Robert's birthday. It's very happy to have Robert here for his birthday, giving up that time.
Glad to be here.
Several weeks ago, we had on our buddy Rick Limpert, and at the time, Rick was heading down to the NIL Summit, and he is back to report with us. And a little bit later on, we got Cole LaRue and Chuck Stone from the KSU men's basketball team coming in.
Very awesome.
So,
We
brother
haven't-
Rick,
we
welcome
haven't-
back, brother.
We haven't seen Mr. LaRue since he inhaled that sandwich.
Since he inhaled that hamburger, I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Well, welcome to Yacht Rock Radio.
There you go.
I know. Right? You're a rich girl. All right. Hey, speaking of rich, all right. Tell us what's going on, Rick. Tell us about the summit.
Well, it was a few weeks ago, I guess, but
Yeah.
well attended, well put together downtown for a full weekend, and a lot of seminars, a lot of learning, a lot of networking, and I think it was the second year. I think it was pretty well received.
Yeah.
Would you say most of the people who were attending were like yourself, or were there people from actual universities, coaches, or just a little bit of everything?
There was a little bit of everything. There wasn't a lot of media, so
Okay.
we had a media room, and it was staffed by some of the student athletes were getting some valuable experience and learning some media savvy. And but a lot of athletes, coaches, vendors that maybe we're looking for NIL athletes, and some really good speakers and some people that ran seminars for educating coaches, school administrators, student athletes, that type of thing.
Well, I follow you pretty closely on Facebook, and you interviewed a lot of the athletes that were down there,
Yeah,
or
they-
at least had your picture made with them.
Well, that's they wanted with me. This is what it
There you
was.
go. That's what I'm talking about.
This is the super sports writer tech guy? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah, he'll get me on somewhere. So
No, they each media had maybe 3 to 5 minutes with them for them to tell their story and kind of what their angles are, and a lot of them were juniors and seniors that maybe were coming back for their last year, and they're looking to explore the NIL possibilities that exist. So I think with anybody in your walk of life, you need to have your elevator pitch
Absolutely.
ready.
30-second pitch. Yeah.
Well, and we gave them 3 to 5 minutes, so some time to
Hone your skills.
I think that was great, and I mean, we had from all different sports, which was great. It wasn't just one sport. I think they learned a lot from each other. They really made the whole show interactive, and you came into contact with a bunch of different people.
Very nice.
Were these athletes brought in, or did they pay their own way down there, or how did that work?
Their schools, I believe, had to nominate them. I think they ran some contests for certain student athletes to be there, and I think the summit sponsored maybe some of the bigger names to be there. They had a couple members of the LSU women's basketball team were there getting awards. They had an award show. I think if you were in for an award, maybe you got your trip sponsored. But I think the student athletes had to fill out a form with their school or their athletic department, and then that was sponsored by their athletic department to come down and be a representative of their school. Some schools had 5, 6 representatives. Some schools had room for one, and some schools wanted to send somebody, and they didn't have a student athlete even that was even they knew about it or wanted to go. So some schools were left out of the mix. So I think that'll change in future years.
Yeah.
What? Give me an idea of some of the schools that were there. I mean, was it all big schools from across the country, mostly just local schools?
We had local schools. We had Clark Atlanta.
Okay.
We had Georgia State.
Okay.
We had University of Georgia. I think we had a Georgia Tech, some members of their volleyball team.
KSU?
I didn't see one Kennesaw State
That'll change next year.
person at the whole show, which maybe I missed it, but I didn't come into contact. But then also, bigger schools, your LSU's, your Florida's, Michigan had a bunch of people. The schools that can afford to send its numerous student athletes. A lot of those schools did.
I gotcha.
And UCLA, their quarterback was there. So I mean, we had
A lot.
We had noticeable athletes that you would recognize, down to track and field athletes from smaller schools. A volleyball player that I interviewed from a smaller school in the South. So. But I think they all got something out of it, and I think there's as we know, there's a place for NIL in just about every level and in every sport. So I think that was a big takeaway from the show.
Well, it amazes me that nobody from KSU came. No coaches, no anybody. I mean,
Now, I'm not saying they weren't there. I did not
say
see.
you did not see them.
And I was there for a full day and a half.
Yeah.
Did not see anybody. Did not get pitched to talk to anybody from there in the media room. Basically, you had a desk, and different athletes would approach you, or there were runners that would say, "I have a soccer player from South Florida. He's got a good story. He's Nigerian. Do you want to talk to him?" So I mean, I really spread it out: men, women, coaches. I talked to a variety of people, and I think the common theme is NIL is still in its infancy. They're still trying to feel their way around, especially smaller conferences. They're maybe a little intimidated by it. The Ivy League, Southern Conference, those type of conferences. But I think it's going to change each year.
Well, it's funny, to that point, Heather Pennington was supposed to be on the show with us tonight, and Heather couldn't make it. But Heather is now going to head up the OWL Collective, which is the NIL division of KSU Sports. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've given $300 to the NIL, to the Owl Collective, and we're going to be giving a lot more as our show progresses. We've talked about this on the show before, and I'm sure Rick's heard it. But if you give $500 to Alabama or Clemson or Ohio State, it doesn't mean much. But you give $500 to KSU, and you're part of something small that's going to become something huge.
You get your name on a locker or something really cool.
Yeah, something really well. You can buy a legacy locker for $5,000. I guarantee you can't do that at Georgia or Alabama or one of the other larger schools.
No, definitely not. Let me ask you this, Rick. Knowing
I got
that
so many questions.
So knowing that it was still in its infancy stage, but signing with just 2 answers, was there a lot of people who thought, wow, this NIL is really awesome? Or was there more people thinking, wow, this NIL is out of control?
I never heard somebody say it's out of control.
Okay.
Even though it might be a little bit.
A little bit.
And I think that everybody knows what we see right now, what exists right now is not going to be how NIL is 4 or 5 years down the road.
Absolutely.
Whether that's for the good or bad. And like I said, everybody's feeling their way around it. They don't want to step on other people's toes. But I think, schools are setting up collectives or setting up programs. But I still think, like anything in life, the best spokesman for you is you.
Yeah.
And the athletes that are taking it, there was one person that had signed, and there were small deals. She was a female student athlete, and she right now has 12 NIL deals.
Wow.
Whether it's with a local car wash or a local poke bowl restaurant. But I give her credit. She's out
hustling.
She's out hustling. She's out getting her name out there. I think that's going to help her as her life progresses.
In her situation, is she the best athlete at her school, and that's why she's got so many, or she's just out there working it?
She's out there working.
Good for
She's
her.
not even a starter in her sport.
Okay.
But she's I think that says something for her business
It definitely
savviness.
does.
And
Everybody wants to hire her no matter what it is.
Yeah, and she's active on social media, which is key for a lot of these people. These people are aggressive on social media. I mean, you don't want to make a misstep somewhere. And they're aggressive on social media, and there's something to be said for that. But again, I think in order to be a successful NIL student athlete, you have to have a story or a cause or something, a uniqueness that sets you apart from everybody else, unless you're, last name is Manning or, and I mean, then you can just show up and do whatever.
And people will give you money.
Yeah, but I think the coaches need to be more educated on this. Your athletic directors. Some people are going to get caught with their pants down here coming up in the next year or two before things maybe do get regulated a little bit more. Because I think you've used the term, Chuck. It's like the Wild West right now.
Yeah, and you said, how can it really be out of control when it's in such its infancy stage? It's just not controlled. It's not that it's out of control.
Well, the California gold rush was out of control in its infancy stage.
That's for sure.
And this is kind of like a gold rush. They're all looking for that pot of gold.
I think we're right now going through the Donner Pass, and we just have to figure out what's going to happen once we get there.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a good analogy. Were there more players down there than anything? More athletes?
I don't remember I think the total attendance for the weekend was maybe 2,000 to 3,000.
Okay.
And
That's
maybe a third of that were student athletes, and a third were school administrators. Like I said, some media. You had businesses that were down there looking to network. You had the people that were putting on the seminars and the educational forums, which ranged from how to deal with your finances if you're getting NIL money to
that's a good thing to have.
To being a spokesperson for yourself.
So some vendors were basically there, yeah.
Yeah, and also how to do NIL and not tick off your school and your teammates while you're looking out for that. So
you got the one hustler and the other team. Everybody on the team's not getting anything.
There's a delicate balance when it comes to that, and that needs to be talked about as well.
I never really thought about it when you said that. I've been living in a shell, as most people know, and I was thinking that all of the NIL deals were going to people with the last name of Manning, that great that guard who's got a great crossover, who's going to be coming 2,000 miles to come play with us. I never really thought about somebody who's not even in a starting lineup in their given sport out hustling. Hey, I want some NIL money. I'll work at the car wash. I'll do it this.
Can you see
incredible.
Callie Terza going out?
I could see
She could
see
get
quite a few people.
$100,000.
You got to have the time to do it. You
Yeah.
have to have the desire. You have to be on board with your school and your team's kind of philosophy when it comes to that.
And as you said, you have to sell yourself. And there's been a lot of people who sat in the hoot seat where you are who are really darn good at that.
Yeah, Callie being one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to do a commercial, and we got another segment.
More NIL talk.
Yeah.
More NIL.
But after that, we're going to bring Chuck and Cole
Yeah.
LaRue on. But I want you on Larry's headphones or somebody's headphones. So if they have any questions about NIL, you could possibly answer them. So, but we'll get into some more stuff with Rick right after this.
Modern Image is a locally owned document and photograph scanning company that helps clients secure and use paper files and photos. Whether it's important business files or sentimental family photos and videos, Modern Image is dedicated to helping clients solve problems around paper. Go Owls.
And there you go. All right. So, my question, if all these athletes are down there, were there any sponsors there that were particularly looking for athletes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And who were there some big names, little names, or what kind of sponsors
I didn't really
were there?
get involved in that type of interaction. You knew people were there. I had breakfast with two companies that were there, two large corporations that were there that had their eyes open for NIL.
For the story, as you would say.
For somebody that would fit with what they're looking to do. I won't name those companies on the air, but I'll tell you off the air what they were, recognizable. And, I mean, they're, again, the businesses and whether they're retail or service companies or online businesses, they're learning as well, too. What fits, what's going to work for us, what's not going to be. They don't want anything controversial. That's kind of the unique theme with anyone that's looking for NIL representation. They don't want it to blow up in their face because then someone's going to lose their job.
So
probably.
Bud Light and Target weren't there, is what you're saying.
Did not see them.
Yeah, it's okay.
Did not see them.
All right. That's interesting because let's say that an athlete, did they have them up and they give their 3 to 5 minute story, and then did another athlete come up right after them in the same room?
No, that's not how it worked. We were in a media room. We each had a little desk, and they were speaking with us. They were telling us
one-on-one.
There was no athlete that was up in front of a group of 100 to 1,000 people giving their. That was not the purpose of it. Mm-hmm. But the ones that wanted to talk to media, maybe wanted some experience with the media, you could tell some of them. You know, the soccer player at Florida A&M, how often is he interviewed by somebody that's not the school newspaper? Probably.
The Rattlers.
Yeah, I mean, so...
Go, boy.
I think any of that is good experience and will pay off for them, and it puts them kind of at ease with talking to somebody.
Pays off.
Yeah, there's no harm in that, but... again, I learned something from the young people, what they're looking for, and their stories are very unique. And as this progresses, there's going to be this is a nice hook for college athletes that maybe aren't in a fully funded scholarship situation to get some benefits.
Yeah. So what was your best story you heard? As he takes a drink of something from Miller's Ale House.
The best story I heard, I mean, lots of good stories, but one of the girls there, and she does have a couple NIL deals. She was a volleyball player here in the South, and her father passed away, and she's kind of made it a platform for herself to help other student athletes, whether it's college, high school, that have lost a parent or somebody close to them, and she went through a grieving process where maybe she didn't want to play her sport and struggled maybe academically, and she realized she's got to be bigger than that, and an adult, and she's been helping other people in that same situation, and some of the NIL benefits she's getting, companies are on board with what her platform and her message is, and I think that's a great thing. She's doing great academically, she's got one more year athletically, and she's a winner in my book.
Yeah, that's really cool. There's so many other questions. What would you think of, like, we named 3 or 4 other quarterbacks in our previous show. that are Heisman potentials have never thrown a pass in college.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of NIL potential do those guys have? Heisman potentials, but never really started a game as of yet.
Tons.
Yeah, tons. And I think the reason they're at that school they're at is probably there's an NIL guarantee already in place.
Yeah.
And you're right. Is that going to help them perform, knowing they already have a little comfort level there, or is that put more pressure on them?
That's a good question.
That we're going to find out. I think it depends on the individual, but I like an individual that thrives under pressure. And you can see those guys week one usually in college football and the NFL, how they're going to react to that competition, and they're going to be successful whether they have NIL pressure or not.
And there are some schools that just take NIL as like a lump sum and split it up among all their players, right?
I think, they all work it differently. I think there's, if they have a collective that could get distributed, but if there's an individual, they can pad their own wallet, I think, and play the sport, and I'm sure they're extremely busy. Again, this brings that time management component of college athletics and academics into play. So managing your time, and there was some education on that as well.
Let me ask you this. There's so much going on. I'm going to make a bad comparison because that's what I do best. In a boardroom, when all of the board members come up with an idea, they look over at the lawyer and they're like, can we do that? Is that what we're supposed to do? So at something like this, are there a bunch of people who understand the rules without, way better than everybody else that people are bouncing ideas off of? Or is the NCAA even active in any way, shape, or form to where somebody says, well, hey, can we do something like that? No, that you can't do that. Does the NCAA even clear their throat in this process?
You said the word rules. There are no rules. And I think for an individual, I think it's good to have somebody, as with anything, whether they're a lawyer or an agent or a family friend that has experience with deals of some sort. I think it's to the individual's benefit to have somebody looking out, for a third party looking out for you, to making sure you're doing things the right way. You have the money handled correctly. You have the I's and the dotted and the T's crossed, like anything else.
Absolutely, and I understand that the rules are old,
What rules?
No, but there are rules, and I don't know what any of them are, and you would know this ahead of me.
You can't endorse a tobacco product.
Okay, so there's the rules. So here's
alcohol?
Here's my question for you. You believe somebody's going to screw this up at some point and have that hammer levied, whether it's a double secret probation, your baseball team's not allowed to do something because you were doing too many crazy things with NIL. I don't know what the rules are.
We'll see. There are no rules. I told you. Chuck, make the title of this program, There Are No Rules.
There are no rules. I like this segment. How's that?
Maybe that'll call attention to the fact that there are no rules.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
But you brought up a good point to me. If somebody was offered $2 million to play college basketball, college football, do they care if they win the Heisman or not?
Well,
Sure.
it sure would be nice, probably, for exposure-wise.
I'm going to make another 40 if I.
Yeah.
Listen, when these NIL deals the numbers kind of get leaked, you think that's done by accident?
No.
That's done on purpose.
You know why?
Because you know what? Because they're in the headlines in the USA Today and on Yahoo Sports for the next day.
Well, you know why they're leaked, right? Because there are no rules.
There are no rules as far as leaking.
Yeah.
Well, when at the end of the day, there's only a handful of teams that wins national titles. There's only a handful of people who win Heisman trophies or MVPs at the next level. So I think it's huge if you can sign a $2 million deal, because most likely none of the people are going to be that guy. There's only so many Peyton Mannings out there. So if you can get a check while you can.
Can you imagine what Peyton Manning would have gotten NIL-wise?
Oh, my gosh.
We know what Eli's doing very well, or Arch is doing very well.
His brother,
but do we
son in
back
Texas.
Do we back that up another level and say if it happened today, Eli's not going to Ole Miss and Peyton's not going to Tennessee, because there is so much NIL money that.
Look at when the Final Four is over. Look at the transfer portal in college basketball.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if a team needs, like Miami did last year, they needed a shooting guard and a point guard.
paid $800,000 for the one guy.
They rated the guy from Kansas State $900,000, I think it was.
It was like 2 years, $800,000 or $900,000. It was incredible.
And it paid off when they made They made the Final Four in the championship game, and so I think the schools that are proactive, the athletes that are proactive, there's a benefit that outweighs the destroying of college athletics. And as far as are you going to stay out of school for more than a year?
Well, do you think this all got started because the coaches had the flexibility? I mean, we just lost our KSU basketball coach who was making $250,000, I think, here, and went to South Florida for $1.4 million. Right?
I don't fault him for leaving.
How can you?
1.1 per year.
Even though he told me, he sat there and looked at me the week before he left, and he said, "Rick, my feet are firmly planted here in Kennesaw."
Yeah.
They were. They just ended up digging up the ground around
the
them.
shoes were planted, but the body was not.
The feet were gone from the shoes. Yeah.
But you think Kennesaw State's the only school
No.
with, and now the stakes are going to get driven up even higher, as we talked about, moving to a bigger conference.
Absolutely.
So put on your big boy pants, and it's going to be a bumpy ride maybe starting out, but I think with some of good school officials in place, and if you have an NIL person that's going to stick around and how about this? That's not an easy job here at a school like Kennesaw State.
So there's as of right now, there's no limit. So no rules, no limit to what a NIL athlete can take.
The only rules right now are there's certain products that you cannot endorse as a student athlete.
So we talked about the kid from Ohio State. We talked about the kid from Georgia that are both in the top 10 for the Heisman and haven't thrown a pass yet. What is their potential?
I think the potential's great for them, especially if they're winning.
But give me a dollar figure.
You don't know. I mean,
right now, before the season ever starts, what would somebody sign a quarterback for?
What was the Arch Manning figure that they say he's making $3 million?
I think it's $3 million.
And I mean, I think anything up to that.
Yeah.
But if you're a cute gymnast at LSU, your potential's over $5 million, evidently. So
she's on commercials all the time.
You're just talking about football, or if you're twins that play college basketball at the University of Miami,
beautiful little blondes,
and you can make more money. They realize they could make more money outside of college sports than they could. And so they leave a year early. Which again, I don't fault anyone to that. And if you have somebody guiding you a little bit to maximize that earning potential, if that's what you're after. Go for it.
Do you think they need a cap?
They can't even get the. They're not going to put. They can't put a set. You think the lawsuits that would be a salary cap, an NIL cap in college sports,
flowing like crazy.
They can't even get EA Sports can't even get a college football game out with numbers on players because of name. Everybody wants their piece of the pie, and while video games are making a heck of a lot of money, how many athletes are in Division I college football? What is the figure? 20,000 or something?
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to pay everybody, whether you're a third string punter?
Yeah.
So they can't even figure that out. So there's no way. An NIL cap, if somebody brought that up at a meeting, I think they'd be laughed. We're not laughing at you, Chuck, but that's a valid question, though.
Yeah, there's got to be some control.
There's no rules. There's no control.
Yeah, I understand. Other than the types of products you can endorse, there are no rules. But at some point in time, if you're going to make that much money to play college sports, what's the incentive to go pro?
Well, one other thing that I thought was a rule is you're not allowed to offer NIL money in lieu of a scholarship. Hey, sorry I can't give you a scholarship, but we're going to more than take care of that by giving you such a big pile of NIL money that you still have no debt.
I don't think you can say that directly, but I'm sure it happens.
Oh, I already know somebody who said to.
Yeah.
I mean, you could give an athlete books money, a scholarship for books money, and then pile on the rest in NIL, and you can't do anything about it.
Right.
All right, cool. All right, so we're going to let Rick go, but he's still going to be on the show, just off camera.
I'm not pretty enough to be on camera.
You definitely
You are
pretty
a pretty
enough.
man.
I'm trying to get some LSU NIL money. Come on.
You could have been in Deliverance. You got.
Let me just say,
You got to bring up the ultimate Southern movie.
Yeah, there
don't
you go. Yeah.
What about Smokey and the Bandit?
You're not
Okay,
getting ready to
Burt
get LSU money.
Reynolds. Someone said I looked like Burt Reynolds at one time. Did you see it or no?
Blonde guy or what?
Jerry Reed? Is that
No, so Rick's going to be off camera, but we're going to bring on two athletes if Adam would go get them. and get them on while we do another commercial for Alvin Jameson.
Thanks.
Hey, Alvin Jameson here, the mortgage guy. Are you looking to get pre-approved for a home loan or maybe build a house from the ground up? Are you curious, or better yet, is your significant other on your back about making renovations in your current home? Call me. I have options for you. All self-employed individuals. Are you torn between writing off all your income or having to show your income to qualify for a house? I have a third alternative for you. Whether you're a W-2 employee, self-employed individual looking to do a purchase or pull money out of your current house, or better yet, we can't forget the investors out there. If you have that high interest rate, hard money loan and looking to refinance out of it, again, give me a call. I have options. Below are the states that I'm personally licensed in. Call me, 404-587-9033. Again, 404-587-9033. Visit the website, alvinjameson.com.
All right, we're back. Thank you, Alvin Jameson, for being the sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports here at Miller's Ale House on a fabulous Wednesday evening. As you can see to your right, my left, we have a hamburger eating champion and his cohort, Chuck Stone and Cole LaRue. Guys, welcome back.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I think Chuck had to like walk him home that night. You know, he was like, well, punch drunk and without bail.
I felt good that night.
It was
Yeah.
a little weird how good he felt after eating that. It
I
was
felt like
Yeah.
I had just a normal day.
Cole's favorite, biggest fan over there, Will Renfro, throwing in a LaRue for us. Thank you, Will. That's all right.
I still say the funniest thing that happened that night was when right before it started, and this one offers the guy, hey, can I get a glass of water? $20 if you do not give him any water. Go. I was like, now there's a guy who's looking to win a competition.
That was funny. That was funny. That was one of the coolest things we've done on the show. Now, last week we had a really cool thing. You know Callie Thurza?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the hammer thrower. So, you know, she trains by squatting guys. So we had her squat Adam. She got over here and put him on his shoulder and did 5 squats. So that was a lot of fun. Of course, it wasn't much of a challenge. Well, he weighs 50 pounds soaking wet, but
I think
it was cool.
She can squat more than me and Cole combined.
Oh, yeah, no,
I don't know about that.
No, it's
She's strong as an
impressive.
ox.
It's
Yeah,
very
she
impressive.
is strong. All right, guys. So summer basketball practice has started.
Oh, it's full swing right now.
Yep, 7 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Every day.
Oh, cool. So how's it going? How's the transition been?
It's been smooth.
Yeah.
You know, it's just getting everybody connected and on the same page, really.
Yeah.
It's been going well.
You like it?
I do.
It was funny. I don't think you guys were here that night, but we did the show, and we were walking out, and Coach Petway was sitting over in one of the booths.
Oh, really?
So we went over and introduced ourselves to him, and really nice guy. Seemed to be a
He's
great guy.
He accidentally showed up on a Wednesday at Miller's Ale House, but we have a crazy feeling that will never accidentally happen again.
No, I think I told you guys, I talked with him a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to get him and Dan maybe on the show sometime in July to talk about the upcoming schedule.
Yeah.
We know you guys have an ASUN schedule for the last time, and but your out of conference schedule has not been set. Is that correct?
That's right.
It is
All right. So how's Coach Ream versus Coach Petway's practice? Same?
No.
Very different.
All right.
Not
Chuck,
even
you look
close.
like you've grown like 6 inches since you were on the show.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
I'd like to,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. What are you, 6'4"?
6'2".
6'2"? Okay.
He's a long 6'2", though.
You can say that.
He is a long 6'2". So tell me the difference between the two coaches in terms of practice.
Hey, it's nothing but playing.
Yeah.
Playing the whole practice.
Competing. A lot of competing.
Yeah.
Head to head.
Head to head.
Where with Raheem was a lot of skills and stuff, like doing the thing across the court that you guys do between before the games.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of that in practice now.
It's a
5-on-5.
yeah.
One-on-one. It's a whole bunch of just competing, getting after it. Loser always has to run. So
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't want to be a loser.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so 2 guys graduated, correct?
Sir.
And I believe 3 transferred.
5 or
Yes.
3 transfer.
Youngblood and who else?
Stroud.
Jennings.
Yeah.
And but now you have how many new transfers coming in? I believe there's 4 or 5.
I don't know.
And then there's a couple freshmen as well, right?
Yeah, hey, Robert, hang on one second. Can we do something about Cole, Mike? He's not coming in well, is it?
Not too far away.
I don't know if you're too far away or if it's just the mic. I can't hear him that well at all.
Come on, Cole.
I'm sure there's nothing Cole's doing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cole's used to
'Cause
being
you
so
sound
big
good.
that he doesn't have to get very close.
You know you
Yeah,
sound
do I
good.
need to get?
Then you sound really good now. There you go.
Oh, that's better.
That's perfect.
All right. So go ahead, Robert.
So new guys on the block. What can you tell us? Excited, lots of excitement with people coming in from all over. That's kind of a new thing.
Yeah, it'll be good. They're all really good. They bring a lot of experience, especially the 2 high major guys.
Right.
They're gonna be good for them.
The 6'8" shooter from West Virginia. What's
right.
his name?
Jamel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good athlete.
Yes, sir.
Very,
Yeah.
very.
Guy from Alabama,
Yep. RJ.
RJ.
R.J.
got-
Johnson.
That guy, he's special. He's so talented. He's really, really good. He's gonna be very good.
That's awesome.
So, how many practices have you had? A couple of weeks?
I think we're coming up on 4 weeks now.
4 weeks?
Something.
Started like June 8th.
Yeah. So, can you already tell that the chemistry's there? Is it coming back?
It's
How do you feel like this year compared to last year at the same time?
Well, last year was different. I mean, that core group was together for 3 years. And, I mean, you're not going to get that overnight. So, I mean, it's really just building it back up again.
Yeah.
It's really just building it back up again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah. He's kind of coming in and out
about
still, but that's okay.
His
We'll,
user
we'll
error.
get
I'll
him
just hold
closer.
it. Can I hold it?
If
Can
you
I hold
want
it
to.
right there?
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
That's funny. So, first game is when? Early November, right?
No idea, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's when it is.
It's crazy that you guys are already doing summer practices, and maybe he liked holding the whole dang stand.
No, I didn't. Good call by you.
Good call, Larry, the
it's
engineer.
very odd to me that you do not have a schedule that's set yet.
Yeah, I think it's just the whole coaching change. You're trying to schedule
Coaching
things.
change and conference change
Yeah,
and just so many
Whole,
things
whole
going on.
bunch of changes.
But you guys still playing ASUN schedule this year, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And you qualify for ASUN championship and all that good stuff?
I don't know how it'll work this year because there are some teams that left. So I think there's going to be like a new format this year.
Okay. I just know that they giveth and they taketh away all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly. So there's really no way of telling.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm so excited about basketball. I think I'm going to buy season tickets this year. If you guys would tell me it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, we
we'll
will.
be there.
Yeah,
It will.
That's why I'm saying, yeah, if I trust you guys, I'll be there. So that'll be fun.
He was going to be there anyway, but thanks for pushing him out the door.
You're right. You're right. So I want to go to the dance again. That's what I want to.
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
wants to do that.
Yeah, it was such a great feeling. We still talk about it a lot on this show, how much exposure that meant for this school, and the Xavier people didn't even know where Kennesaw was,
Yeah.
or what Kennesaw was. So we're very excited about that. We're going to talk a little bit about NIL money, or NIL. If you guys can talk about that at all, can you? Can you
Maybe
give your
something.
opinions?
Yeah, maybe
yeah.
something.
Yeah. So let's get our last commercial out of the way. Then we're going to move into some discuss.
He did that on purpose. He got me all excited about NIL, and then he just switched it around.
Yeah, it's a little early, but I'm feeling the momentum.
You're feeling
coming.
there's going to be a flow. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. There we go. Do you need a delivery right now? As in go now, please. Bearcat Express has expedited shipping on hand-carried items, car, van, or pickup. Whether it's from Atlanta to Athens, Dothan to Augusta, Memphis to Charlotte, or any point in between, we've got the drivers to get your stuff where it needs to be. Whether your passport's still on the dresser, your 5-wood isn't in your bag, or you have a dog that hates to fly, Bearcat Express with their live tracking capabilities is the team to turn to. We are the go-to courier in the Southeast. Check us out at bearcatexpress.com.
And thank you, Blair Cook and David McDonough and Alvin Jameson, for all being sponsors of the Owls Who Live Sports here at Miller's Ale House on a Wednesday night. And we have with us Chuck Stone and Cole LaRue. I'd say Will was awake. He is. All right. All right, cool. We also have Rick Limpert. I don't know if you guys know Rick, Cole,
I have
and
not
Chuck.
met.
Not mad yet.
So Rick is with Tech Data. Isn't that the name of it? Is that the name of your company? Huh? Let him have a mic over there, Larry. Anytime today.
A bunch of different places, Chuck, but whatever you want to mention is fine.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys heard any of Rick's segment or not, but he went down to the NIL summit when it was here in Atlanta about 3 weeks ago. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're off air.
Rick is an athlete. Did you see
look
that
at that.
catch?
What a reaction.
That was impressive.
Yeah, it was.
Heck of a catch.
Because if not, it was going to hit Cole in the head.
I saw it coming out.
Cole was going to
You were
block
going to get out of the way, and it was going to hit Chuck. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a good rivalry here, I can tell. So, what have they told you about NIL? Or is that something that you were taught when you were brought in? Or
We haven't heard much, really.
I can't even hear Cole. I think it's the mic. I don't think it's.
Not that button.
Try again, Cole. No, I can't. Can him and Chuck use the same mic? Or
We can
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you
That's
now.
perfect.
Yeah. That's perfect. Just keep it up to your mouth
Okay.
and see how that works.
I'll speak like this.
All right. So tell us, Cole, what have they told you about NIL?
I have not heard much.
Yeah.
I think it's just because everybody's so new. They're trying to get their bearings still. So we haven't really heard much.
Yeah. Now,
That's not unusual. That was part of what they talked about, and it being new, and as we talked about, there's not really a lot of set rules right now.
Right,
It's still in
yeah.
its infancy, so especially at smaller conferences, you guys are kind of feeling your way around. But
Yeah.
but the message was to get educated because things could start changing again in a hurry. So
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
yeah. So we're not opposed to helping you raise some money either.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I know I'm pretty involved in the community, and I go out and I talk about you guys all the time.
We
Say,
appreciate it.
We need to support these guys, and we do on the air, of course, every week. But there are people out there getting. Rick was telling us about some girl at a smaller school that had like 12 NIL deals already.
Jeez.
But she's not even a starter on her team, so she's out actually knocking on doors. Hey, I'd like to get an NIL deal. So that's kind of where Chuck was going with this. Or have you been shown
Chuck.
the light?
Yeah.
I have not been shown the light.
Yeah. Well, we want to help you find the light. That's what we want to do. So, yeah. So,
Nice. Very nice.
yeah. Rick, what kind of advice would you give these guys?
as with anything, and if you're looking forward to the future and employment, one of the seminars at the summit was you should have as with anything in life, you should have a 30-second elevator pitch that you could sell yourself with at a moment's notice to an individual, to a company, to an organization. And at the summit, they were giving the athletes to talk to the media and talk to us 3 to 5 minutes to kind of tell their story. But I think having 30 seconds to a minute, you never know who you're going to run into, especially in a community like Kennesaw. This is a pretty unique community. It's borderline affluent. A lot of companies are based here, small businesses.
I'm on the borderline.
That's the affluent one of it.
Yeah, you can tell. And you guys kind of distinguished yourself in the spring, and earned a lot of attention. So I wouldn't say that things aren't possible for you guys. Depending on certain factors. So the summit was a lot of educational seminars and athletes from all over the country that are really social media savvy. And there's juniors and seniors and super seniors that are going to be moving on after another year. So they're trying to prepare themselves for life after their sports as well. Right. So, but I know you guys are busy. You have a lot going on. School's getting ready to start again. It's I know it's a gauntlet for you guys. So.
No question. I'm taking 19 hours in the fall.
No, you're not.
I am.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How many in the spring?
I think I'm only taking 12, but I'm taking a senior seminar. I think.
All right.
In internship, maybe.
It is not easy. I mean, time management is a skill that you guys have to perfect early on.
Absolutely.
And with NIL, if you're doing little things for companies and social media posts, time management to me is called into question on a daily basis.
And then I think Cole ought to go after every restaurant in Kennesaw and say, "Oh, we give him a clip of him eating his burger, right? I'll eat your biggest thing, and then if you'll give me $1,000."
If anybody was watching, I'm available.
That was cool. Now I've got another question. We know that players can. How about managers, like on a basketball team? Could Rhett go get an NIL deal?
I wouldn't.
Have you been told anything, Rick?
I think he could do it. I think he falls maybe outside the student athlete guidelines a little bit.
He might not be as restricted as we are.
But if there's a pizza place that wanted to set him up, I'm sure he's listening.
Well, and you know, he could get set up with, hey, guess what I do, and guess who I might be able to show up with, you know, at some point in time. Bringing the goods.
Did you guys know Will Durham?
Oh, yeah.
So Will was on the show, was it last week or the week before?
I think week before.
I heard
before.
about that.
Oh,
Heard
did you?
about that, yeah.
He was really good. His dad's one of my favorite people of all time. I love Wes Durham. So they're really cool to have him on. He was very entertaining, let's say.
Did he tell you about the time we played one-on-one and I was in a boot?
Oh, no, I can't wait to
And
hear this.
he
Please
beat me
say-
by 1 point.
Oh, yeah?
He will not let me live it down.
He's telling everybody.
Man, he'll call me just out of nowhere. It'll be 3 months I haven't spoken to him. He'll call me and be like, hey, you remember that time I beat you one-on-one? And I was like,
He was telling me the story, and it was so close, and then you went up for the game-tying shot, and he's like, get that garbage out of here.
on one leg, sure.
Okay, well, maybe he didn't tell me any of those things, but I figured I'd poke the bear.
Oh, Will's a great guy.
Absolutely.
Love Will.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a good dude. We enjoyed having him on the show. Well, we need to get you guys on our other show where we talk about all sports. That would be kind of fun.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, we did. We talked a lot of college football and NFL football today.
Nice.
So,
Very
yeah.
nice.
So we want to help you guys. Rick, if they had to come up with their own 30-second pitch, like right now, do you think they could do it?
I think so. I mean, I think basically you have to kind of tell me your story and how that would relate to somebody, you partnering with somebody. I think it's fairly easy. And don't put them on the spot right now. These poor guys.
I feel like I'm so on the spot.
Yeah,
right
don't
now.
put these guys on the spot. But maybe
I
when
want them
they
to do anything.
Hey, they need to suck up to the pressure here. Let's go.
when they come back, and some schools are putting their student athletes through, I don't know what they do for you guys, a media training type thing as well. I mean, you guys got a crash course in that back in March.
Yeah, no question.
Which was great. But, some of these schools are, especially in football and more high-profile programs, the worst thing that can happen is one of your student athletes saying something that comes back to haunt or that blows up in their face. So,
we don't want that, for sure.
They're kind of telling people less is more, and just don't be controversial. As long as that's, and I don't think you guys are, but sometimes when people get a microphone in front of your face, you have the gift of talking, and you may say something that you regret, but just don't do that.
Yeah, but they're both been very good. Both times they've been on the show.
Yeah,
They've
don't take after Chuck.
They've carried themselves well. So yeah, that's
Try to at least.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, there are possible companies. They're thinking about Chuck Stone. There's a Stone something Creamery.
Cold Stone.
Cold Stone.
Yeah. Cold Stone Creamery.
I'm
right
on
there.
your side. Y'all ain't been out here yet.
Hey, about 3 miles down the
Is that
road
still around?
That stone. What is it's the Stone Forest.
Yeah.
It's where you buy all of the rocks and landscaping materials. So your name has a couple places built
There you
right
go,
into
Chuck.
it.
There we go.
Yeah.
I don't think LaRue's anywhere.
No, it's
No,
not.
no. Well,
There was
but
a
we can
band
get you-
in the
we can
70s
get
called
you-
LaRue.
We can get you at Henry's Cajun restaurant because that sounds
Yeah.
Cajun. Hey, a little LaRue.
Yeah.
That place is special, by the way.
It is special.
Oh, it is special. Get the sausage and Dewey. And Dewey's sausage. It's incredible. It's incredible.
The Bayou cake.
Oh, it's something else.
Don't tempt Cole.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go there right now.
I've seen Cole eat. I wouldn't tempt him to do anything yet.
I'm sure not getting in his way when he starts heading for the door.
So Ricky laughed at my reference of LaRue. Do you not remember that band?
I don't remember, and I'm a fan of 70s and 80s one-hit wonders, and
They sang a song called New Orleans Ladies. It was by LaRue.
I don't know that. And there's a lot of New Orleans
What a big
songs
hit.
back in the.
You remember it, don't you?
No, not right on.
Never heard of it.
I'm gonna have to research that, Chuck.
I'll play it for you after the show. I promise you.
No,
it was
it's
a great
okay.
song.
That's okay.
Larry probably knows it. Larry being from New Orleans, he knows the song. Yeah, it's a good song.
There was a band called Orleans.
Yeah, Dance With Me. They did Dance With Me. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be your partner.
Wow.
Me.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Are you going to be in this singing competition coming up?
There's a chance
No.
that I will get paid to stay down.
Oh, okay.
No,
Sure, just stay there.
Yeah, New Orleans Ladies. Look it up, Rick. Trust me on this one. But yeah, we could coleslaw. We could come up with somebody, a maker of coleslaw. Yeah.
I'm up for whatever.
Yeah. Michael Cole, School of Business.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So, when do practices stop? Do you guys? You're currently going. You have been for 3 weeks. Are they 7 a.m. until the season starts? You got to have a little bit of time off at some point.
We get 8 weeks in the summer, so I think we'll end maybe last week of July.
Okay.
I don't know. I
This
really
could
don't.
all be completely not true.
Yeah, I probably should stop talking.
That's fine. That's fine.
We're not going to hold you to the fire for it.
And neither is coach. Don't
No,
don't make them run extra. They're just
please.
kind of guessing.
Whenever they tell me to be there, I'm there. That's all.
That's
all.
It's a good attitude to
You
have.
know.
That's all you do is show up, right?
That's right.
Show up
Yeah.
and play.
Show up, keep up, and shut up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good one for you to learn, Adam. Show up, keep up, and shut up. That'd be a great one for Adam.
It's not his forte.
No, it's not his forte.
But no, I think what he's been telling you guys, you guys do present yourselves really well and
Extremely well.
Kind of like I tell my daughter all the time. Every time she goes for a tryout, it's almost like a job interview.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to woo this coach into putting you on his special team or
My mom
or
used to say
anything
that
else.
all the time.
And at the end of the day, having a 30-second speech to where you can go, hey, homegrown, love this, used to, fishing with grandpa and, whatever the case may be,
Right.
just to kind of give your little side of a bio and make sure you are confident because there's no reason for either of you to ever, well, I don't know, I haven't done much. You guys are incredible and just getting better every day.
One girl took it upon herself there was a Australian athletic wear maker that she really liked the clothes from. Now, this is in Australia. She would post on her own Instagram how much she liked this company and tag this company and pictures of her in this. And she got an NIL deal with that company from Australia. So she took it upon herself to maybe bully them into an NIL deal almost. So, I mean, anything's possible. But I think you guys will see this year the school might get a little more proactive for you guys, and I'm sure you would appreciate that. Maybe that's the little
nudge that we
kick you
need,
guys
yeah.
need. So, but we'll see.
Because I think we just don't know where to start.
No, that's
It's
understandable.
never really been an option for anybody.
Like I said, it's brand new.
Yeah.
So
I got the perfect place for Cole to start. That guy right over in the yellow shirt.
He's not locked into you right now.
Hey, Will, we're telling Cole where to start out looking for NIL sponsors in that booth over there. So,
Yeah, that move.
I don't know if he'll want me. I beat him too bad last time.
every little bit helps, according to Chuck.
he
Absolutely.
didn't beat you by that much.
I beat him. I whooped him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll want me to come over and partner with him.
Oh, yeah, he would be happy to have you. I guarantee you.
He would.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there are a lot of good opportunities out there. I mean, man, I mean,
More than we could ever possibly scratch the surface on because there's so many local schools. We invite super fans on the show all the time, and there's been so many people who have sat in your seat, Chuck, and
My seat?
No, Chuck.
Oh.
I didn't say you. But I mean, these guys, they have companies, they're local, they're season ticket holders.
Yeah.
If they thought they had an opportunity to sit in between the two of you and put it on a poster,
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of
Absolutely.
opportunities out there, way more than we could ever. scratch
And
the surface
opportunities are going to increase going into the bigger conference.
conference
So, I mean,
USA.
you guys are going to see, you guys are going to notice growth and opportunities. Being popping up, I think, and you have to be receptive to that if that's
Right.
something you're interested in. So yeah, be ready.
And we.
I'm ready.
I just thought of another avenue. Robert's wife, Stormy, who brought Robert's birthday cake today. Happy birthday, Robert, again.
Happy birthday.
She's president or vice president or something in the Kennesaw Business Association. How cool would it be to invite these guys to a KBA event and meet all these business executives that come to these events and just tell their 30-second sales pitch?
That should be a given every season.
And when you leave that KBA after giving your 30-second speech, there's going to be people who are like, I got one for you. I'm from Columbus. I went here. I love this. You're my guy. It's just there's so much of that stuff.
Right,
I don't know
yeah.
how many people from Mobile are going to be into.
No, I don't know.
People just want to feed you. It's all good.
Well,
Hey,
I'll
I'll
tell-
take it. I'll take that.
And I tell you this, it's not always about who you meet. It's about who they know.
Yeah,
So it's like viral marketing. If somebody can't help you, I guarantee if they like you,
They know somebody who
people
can.
buy from people they like. That's something you need to remember. People buy from people they like. And if they like you, they will help you and they will find you the right people to get you in front of.
Yep.
That's very true.
Yep. So that's really cool. It's great to have Rick lay out NIL for us. And I would encourage you guys to go back to your room before you go to bed and listen to the first half of the show and see what Rick had to say, because he gave us some very, very applicable insight to what's going on in the NIL. It's a new world.
And while there were people at the summit that were very serious about NIL and have multiple deals and are doing, there were people like Charles and Cole that were there to kind of test the waters and see what the possibilities are. So I think there's room for everybody, but in a world of NIL where there's not really a lot of rules. So, the rule I would say is, make sure your athletic department is on board and aware of what is going on. That would be rule number one. And some of these people are really getting creative.
Yeah.
I don't think anything is wrong with that.
Did either one of you even know the NIL summit was in Atlanta?
I had no idea.
Absolutely no clue.
Yeah. So that's probably the fault of the summit itself for not maybe publicizing enough. Rick, what do you think?
According to them, they reach out, sent information to every athletic department, Division I through NIA in the country, and it was up to the athletic department with that information to send kids, nominate people, or to be a part of the summit. So, again, was the second year for it. It grew from year number one, and I expect it to keep growing. So
yeah, so that's really cool. I wonder if the athletic department just didn't know about it, or because it's so young in its infancy that they just say we won't participate. And I know you said you didn't see them. That doesn't mean they weren't there.
No, that doesn't mean that there wasn't Kennesaw State representatives there. But one of your rivals is a school named Liberty. Guess who was there? They were there. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's a place for a school like Kennesaw State, an emerging, growing Division I school. They should be a part of things like that.
Liberty is everywhere, but the last time I saw them, they were crying on their bus going home. But that's a different story altogether.
Yeah, that's what I remember too.
I just want to. We keep talking about NIL money and Arch Manning and his $3 million. You don't have to sign a $100,000 deal with Cole LaRue. He's not opposed to it, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, if you've got something that you think, hey, I've got a little bit of something, this could be kind of fun, and it gets me involved in my community and my local college, Cole's ready to do some stuff for a few $100.
He will change his last name to Manning if that opportunity presents itself.
I'm not opposed to it at all.
Cole Manning. That's
Chuck Stone is willing to let you give him a new middle name.
Yeah.
For the right amount of money. It's okay.
Chuck Stone ought to be like an attorney. Hi, I'm Chuck Stone. They get some attorneys, or James Bond. He sounds very distinguished name.
He is very distinguished.
Cole, would you want to change your middle name?
No, I like my middle name. It's funny. We were just talking about this today.
What is your middle name?
Go ahead, Cole.
Everybody laughs at it, but I don't see what's funny about it.
Well, you know what? I don't understand why anybody laughs at it, because you're so freaking big. So I think only other large people laugh.
Well, he's not even that large, so he keeps laughing.
Not
You better
compared
watch
to
out.
you.
Yeah,
Compared to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do we got?
So it's a family name.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
always
a well-known Mobile name, and it's McPhillips. And I don't understand why it's so
That's
funny.
your middle name, McPhillips?
McPhillips.
That's really
Cole
Cole.
McPhillips LaRue.
Exactly. I don't see why that's so funny.
Hey, Chuck, we gotta hear yours at this point.
It's Matthews.
Chuck Matthews with an
Charles
S?
Matthews Stone.
He's
So
got-
both of you kind of have the last name for the middle name kind of going.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I don't think I've ever heard Matthews as a middle name. My son's middle name is Matthew.
Matthew.
Yeah, but
That's
I've
a
never
good
heard
one.
Matthews.
Yeah, the S is pretty weird there, Chuck.
It's almost it's not even close to as
McPhillips.
interesting as yours. I mean, I
All right, I got
like it.
I got a
It's funny.
trivia question for Rick and Robert and Larry before we go, because everybody else is too young to hear this. But remember the Dick Van Dyke Show?
Yeah.
What was Richie's middle name? You remember? Great trivia question.
Rick's the only one going to get that.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Rosebud.
Oh, there's no way.
It was 7 names of all of his uncles that started with those letters. That's why they call him Rosebud. So yeah. So we're full of middle names tonight. What's your middle name, Robert?
I actually have 2 middle names. I'm the only person on the planet with my name. They say no matter what your name is, there's always somebody out there. But once you add that extra middle name and make it Hindu, man, there is nobody who's got me. Robert Regis Suresh Kenny.
Suresh.
Very good. Good, sir. Good to see you.
Not in my store, you don't.
And mine is Miles. When I used to DJ, I was Chuck Miles.
You actually are on this show's website.
Yeah, it's a lot
Every
easier
time
to say.
I look at it, I'm like, I didn't know we were doing nicknames on this.
It's a lot easier to say than Burge. Yeah, so Chuck Miles was my show name. Chuck Miles, yeah. All right, Chuck Milestone. That wouldn't be right. All right, we're late.
Hey guys, we really appreciate you not being scheduled to come on.
Hey,
You
it was
just decided
fun.
to come and hang out, and you
Fun.
got coerced and pulled onto the show.
Yeah.
So Chuck and Cole and Rick, thank you so
sir.
much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
We're going to learn more about NIL. We'll have Rick back occasionally, and once these guys get a couple of deals, we're going to come back and celebrate with them. Right?
Absolutely.
Speaking of celebrating, everybody once again wish my buddy Robert a happy 52nd birthday.
Happy birthday.
And as always, we'll see you next week right here on the Owls Who Live Sports. Everybody have a safe and a happy 4th.
Keep your